Welcome, everybody, to episode 26 of Smack Talk here at smarkoutmoment.com. I'm your host, as always, Tony Mango. With me today, Mike Burhan, unless Dace or Braden ends up popping up. We're not too sure. Got a lot of whole things kind of get in the way here, on top of a lot of audio problems. So, fantastic.
Yeah, if you could forgive me, everybody, I've got a bad back going on at the moment. So if I literally sit there and squirm, you'll know why.
So we got that. We got audio problems. We got 2 missing people.
And I with my pants. So
So bear with us for this episode. This is going to be quite a long one because you know how pay-per-views go, but we'll try to get through it.
If not, then we'll refund you guys the pay-per-view balance.
Yeah,
Whoops.
We'll refund you the balance of what a free stream would be.
Yeah, 0.
All right, so let's get right into the Ask Him.
Yes, okay. Today's Ask Him is a bit of a tricky one. Let's see if you can get it. This person was known as one of the either the most insane minds of our business or one of the greatest heels of our business. He has spent time in WCW as a cruiserweight / lightweight. He was part of the Horseman faction and migrated over to ECW, where he literally pissed himself and tried to get his cock out, and went to the WWE as part of a very big faction before dying. Who is he? Do you want another clue?
Yeah, throw me one more, because that ECW thing's throwing me off.
Okay.
Even though that should be like the big hint.
He had ties to a former top star in the WWE and was his tag team partner. I think I can't throw you any more than that. If I tell you more, I might as well tell you his name.
Well, I can rule out.
And it was an Attitude Era champion. I'll give you that.
Attitude Era champion.
Yeah, he was a former partner of an Attitude Era champion.
Former partner of an Attitude Era champion. What? You can't give me the type of champion, right?
Well, I said a top star, so you're not looking at mid-card.
Sid? No, wait, you know what? Sid wasn't... I'm going to retract that.
And he was part of the Horsemen, remember? This guy was part of...
Yeah, I'm trying to think of different... Pillman, I don't know.
You actually are right.
Yes.
Ian Pillman, notorious for
Steve
saying
Austin, right?
Take that, Booker man, to Kevin Sullivan before leaving WCW. Was also famous for nearly getting his cock out on ECW television and stating that Rob Van Dam was the future of the business. He was the former tag team partner of Stone Cold Steve Austin, as they were a tag team known as the Hollywood Blondes.
That's what got it for me. As soon as I thought of Austin. There you go. Woo, going.
But that was so basically with that, guys, every time I do the Ask Him from now on, I will give you the answer and let you know exactly what my process was from getting the character from A to B. So there you go.
Alrighty, now let's go into the hot tags. Okay, so the hot tags, let me get the little prefaces first, because there's only 2 of us, to hell with the whole 30-second limit thing, and I actually have 5 of them this week. Can't fit 5 of them on the card, but we'll just throw this all together. You know, this is a fucked up episode anyway, so I might as well just keep the thing going, you know what I mean? But first one, Buff Bagwell was just in a car accident recently. They said that he flipped his Jeep several times. He might have had a seizure beforehand. He broke his jaw, a whole lot of things like that. He was in the ICU the last time I had checked the reports about it, but they were saying that he was doing actually better. It's not like he's brain damaged or anything like that. So, I mean, obviously, everybody wishes him the best. That sucks. That's about all I can say.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. It kind of sucks, but again, look at what he was taking. I'm sorry to say this, and I know people are going to feel like I'm being a total douchebag, but he's had a history of steroids and whatchamacallit. He basically built himself up from this small Marcus Bagwell, where he was tagging with the Patreon and just henched himself up. I feel really bad for the guy. I just hope he can learn from this if he ever comes out of hospital. Apparently, he's doing well at the moment.
Yeah, he didn't take too many of those whatchamacallits. You got to watch out for them.
Exactly. And basically, he's probably taking so many pills like a fucking Pez dispenser.
Maybe.
He just needs to learn from this, like what Lex Luger did, and work on maybe just winding himself down, stop having that sort of lifestyle, and get healthy. And all the best, speedy recovery, Buff. And again, just learn from it, mate.
Then we have Wade Barrett's quote unquote attorney takes over his Twitter account. There was a message saying, due to, quote, I'm going to quote this, due to a number of factors, Mr. Barrett has signed the administration of this account over to his attorney for the foreseeable future. Mr. Barrett will be making no further comment at this stage. Regards, Peter Lazaro, Esquire. Obviously, if this were true, he would have called him Mr. Bennett, not Mr. Barrett, because his name is not Wade Barrett. His name is Stuart Bennett. But I'm curious as to see how this goes, because Barrett hasn't been on the scene for a while because of his injury, and if this is something that has to tie into a storyline, because they've been kind of doing that with their Twitter accounts a lot recently, then what the hell? I don't know. I hope that it's not some kind of Bobby Roode, David Otunga mix up, kind of bring the attorney into everything kind of a situation. But what the hell, I'm up for a possibility.
May get new Clarence Mason. He was the only real attorney in the WWE because he was so amazing with the Nation of Domination and also with Camp Cornette, if everyone remembers those.
You gotta love Camp Cornette.
And he was also part of the Nation, the original incarnation before The Rock got a hold of it.
Yep.
So yeah, no, this is a great little thing. It could give Barrett an extra boost. I know it's not a shoot, that it's a complete work because of the fact that, as you've stated, he hasn't stated his real name. And no offense, the fees would be through the roof having your attorney take your Twitter account. It would be charging $200 per tweet.
Yep.
As long as people understand that this isn't real life, then it's fine, and it's going to turn into something pretty awesome, I think. Especially for Barrett, he deserves it.
Yeah. And let's go right into the first out of this little trio of future endeavors, I guess you could call it. Andy Leavine has been released from WWE, proving that Tough Enough was a complete waste of time, which I thought basically happened when Luke Robinson didn't win. And I bet they're kicking themselves right now because they didn't have Luke win, because he was clearly the best out of all of them. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Yeah, but it ends up being pointless.
Fuck, though, Tony.
Hmm?
He's an arrogant fuck. He was going all over Twitter. Yeah. He went to FCW as well because they were thinking of signing him. And apparently a lot of the FCW guys were literally getting pissed off because he made a few comments about how he was better than most of the guys on that roster. And he was rubbing everybody the wrong way. So I can understand why they went with Andy instead of Luke. Because having that sort of idiotic and arrogant approach to somewhere where you're supposed to just be humble, shut up, and show people what you can do with your ability, rather than acting like you're the biggest shit on the planet.
Yeah, but at least in the past, McMahon's been a big fan of people that are arrogant like that, and he had the talent to back it up. If they released Andy because he failed that wellness policy and he wasn't good in the ring, they should have known by then that he wasn't going to be anything, and then,
No, I agree, because that's the chance that you take with someone who's green, because Andy had no prior wrestling experience.
Kevin Hackman.
And plus the crappy little gimmick they gave him as well didn't work.
It became a hack gimmick. I had to.
And then he got a hatchet. That was kind of crap. But yeah, basically putting someone like that who's really green, he's not a diva. He doesn't have breasts, and he isn't straight from a catalog. So, of course, unlike the Bella twins, hint, hint, he's not going to get called up to the roster immediately, even though he has no ring ability. So, obviously, that's what happens. But hopefully, he'll learn from the experience, use his WWE tenure to get himself some independent dates and help him work his way through it. And if he's smart, he'll keep getting more training. Maybe even go to Lance Storm's school in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Maybe build up some of that silent rage.
Exactly. And hopefully get himself over. If not, then he'll do like the other Tough Enough winners, such as Maven, Nydia. I can't think who else. I wouldn't say John Morrison because he's probably the only successful one out of the original Tough Enough lot in the first place.
Then we have the Save Reks and Hawkins campaign completely doesn't trend on Twitter during Raw, so that's even more of a chance that they're going to be future endeavored. I don't know why they haven't done it already. Might just be a contract thing. But Reks and Hawkins have got to be gone from the company soon.
I don't believe that. I think Kurt Hawkins, I think, has got a tenure with the company. Reks doesn't really bring much to the table, to tell you the truth.
He's really done nothing since he's came into the WWE. I mean, they had him wrestle a couple matches, then he was gone for about a year, then he comes back, wrestles a couple matches, he's gone. Like, I don't know. I don't see the point. I think they should just cut him and start bringing in. They've already bring in all these people: Cesaro, Sandow, Ambrose. So just cut Kurt and Tyler and let them do their own thing. Let them go to TNA.
No, I'd rather Hawkins stay. That's me, because I think Hawkins has got a lot more to give. Even if they have to bring him back to FCW, get him to train up a bit more and repackage him. As far as Reks goes, I totally 100% agree. He doesn't really have anything outside of just being scary looking, which he doesn't even have that anymore.
And then we've got the one that isn't on the screen right now. Rey Mysterio has been suspended again. Now he's going to be gone for at least another 60 days, even if he was cleared to compete with his injury.
I found that, and I totally mailed that to Tony because that's what you do.
Yeah, I had a whole bunch of people that immediately sent that to me because they know that I think it's funny when Rey Mysterio is in these situations because I'm not the biggest Rey Mysterio fan. Not to say I don't necessarily like him, but I just find it funny when this kind of stuff happens. So
he's literally on life support at the moment, and the amount of requests he keeps making to WWE to up his money and give him more merchandise sales and more sales of his masks and stuff. Of course, it does. I don't hate Rey Mysterio, but I think it's time for him to hang up the boots. I really do.
I think he's got a little bit left in him, but he needs to stop being somebody that they depend on, and he needs to be somebody that starts putting everybody over instead. He does put people over. He's not Triple H, but he needs to stop being somebody who they put in the main event. He needs to be the upper mid carder that puts over the people that are upper mid carders to go into the main event. Kind of like when he was working with Cody and working with Dolph Ziggler and all that. Yeah, that's where he needs to be.
That pissed me off a bit, the fact that he didn't allow himself to put over Dolph. Well, he didn't. He basically nixed the idea because he wanted a longer title run, and then ended up getting injured 2 months afterwards.
Dropping it to Morrison instead of dropping it to Ziggler.
And then Ziggler just got that downhill spiral in terms of his push, and it was ridiculous.
But that is our hot tags for the week. We will probably just go right into the Hottest Divas and Knockouts tournament in part 2, and then we'll start going into the Extreme Rules predictions. So check out part 2 coming up right now.